What's up, everybody? It's KBR Sports, the best sports talk show 24-hour day, back from the break. Remember, you all can follow and subscribe to the KBR Sports podcast by going on Rabble TV, Spreaker, YouTube, iTunes, and SoundCloud. Also, don't forget that you can follow the KBR Sports Twitter page by going to KBR_sports, where the live links and show topics are tweeted prior to every single show. Also, don't forget you can call in at 571-991-0566 in order to give your thoughts and opinions on any KBR Sports show topic that may be getting discussed at that point in time. And also, don't forget to comment, like, and share the KBR Sports podcast so that your live comments and tweets and everything can be read during the show so you guys can get your input in on the show. And also, so maybe you can pitch your own topics and to show your support for the KBR Sports podcast. All right, so going on to our next topic, there were a lot of NFL coaches that were fired over the course of this NFL weekend. I mean, it seemed like right after Sunday's games, it was like boom, 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 boom,
hey,
boom.
Hey, you know it is Black Monday, bro.
Hey, man, all these coaches getting uprooted, all their families now being informed, the coaching staff being informed, hey, we weren't happy with your seasons, so, you know, all these guys are getting let go, and it's kind of sad in some instances, but, you know, it's just part of the business. But guys like with the names, like you see the Chicago Bears decided to let go of John Fox, Oakland Raiders decided to let go of Jack Del Rio, the Indianapolis Colts decided to let go of Chuck Pagano, the Detroit Lions decided to let go of Jim Caldwell. And so when you see all these firings, you're just like, wow. It seems, and some of these guys, they've been in positions where their teams either just made the playoffs recently, or obviously in the case of John Fox being the one guy whose team hasn't made the playoffs anytime soon or recently at all. I mean, they've been at the bottom of the barrel in the NFC North for the past 4 seasons. But the other 3 guys, they've made the playoffs in recent memory. So, Nigel, which one of these coaching fires do you think the guy deserved the most out of all these coaches?
Chuck Pagano. Good old Chuck. It's just
getting fired after 6 seasons.
Yeah, how many seasons he made? I think 3 seasons he made the playoffs.
Yep, one AFC championship,
and it's not that they Andrew Luck's injured, obviously. But they just look awful.
Yeah,
and it's like games they just came out flat. And there's a couple of games I don't have them pulled out, but there are clock mismanagements that happen too many times probably to count for an NFL head coach.
Mm-hmm.
So realistically, he's probably the most deserved to be fired. Some of them, I mean, John Fox just didn't have the talent. Let's just be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Jack Del Rio, hit and miss. He had one really good year, and outside of that, hasn't really been able to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
Some of that's his fault. Some of that's, I mean, Derek Carr got hurt last year.
Yes.
And then comes back this year and it's not the same player. And the years before that, he had a young quarterback starting. So I mean, it's tough on him as well. But like a lot of those things, you can point to them, like, you know, they had tough breaks.
Mm-hmm.
Chuck Pagano, but they still didn't look like the Colts. Just didn't like they just didn't look like a team.
And I the funny thing is, it's like I probably would agree because I feel like a lot of people have been displeased with how Chuck Pagano has handled that team in the absence of Andrew Luck and how they haven't been able to win. But wouldn't you say that having Andrew Luck covers up a lot of the faults? Because when we saw a guy like Mike McCoy in Green Bay, I'm not sorry, I think I got his name wrong. Mike McCarthy in Green Bay. The minute Aaron Rodgers went down, these guys have struggled to win any football games really, with Brett Hundley as their quarterback. So they pretty much brought Aaron Rodgers back off injury reserve way too early because they wanted to see if they could save the season with him. And just the fact that you had that mindset that you needed Aaron Rodgers to save your season shows the fact that a lot of these teams, I mean, pretty much most teams are going to have a high dependency on their franchise quarterback.
Yeah.
But you should have ancillary parts around the team that even if the franchise quarterback is either not performing up to par or that player is not available, that your team can uplift them and still be able to get a win of some sort without that player. And I think in the scope of Chuck Pagano, is it fair to chastise him because of the fact that he wasn't able to get his team to a winning situation or put them in winning situations, despite the fact that his franchise quarterback was gone, even in the same when in the same vein, Mike McCarthy couldn't do the same without Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, because I think it goes more to say how competitive were they in those games with Brett Hundley. I mean, we're looking at you lost by 3 to the Steelers. You lost by they got blown out by the Ravens. To be fair, you lost by 3. You won by they won games though. That's the difference. They won against the Bucks. They won against the Browns. They were competitive against the Panthers. Got blown out by the Vikings, but I mean Vikings. Mm-hmm. So it's like they were competitive in games with Brett Hundley. And it's not like the Colts didn't have time. Like Brett Hundley got thrust in there mid-season.
This is true. Yes, he did.
The Colts were without Andrew Luck, training camp, preseason, regular season.
Yes,
all the way through. And that team still. And again, it's not just about what happens. Like it's not just about winning or losing the game. It's how you look in said games as well. Mm-hmm. And again, when you come out flat, when you come out flat most of the time, or you make blunders in the game, then, I mean that's when you're like, okay, this guy is obviously there's something going on with him versus the team as well.
But remember, they picked up Jacoby Brissett early on in the season. So Jacoby Brissett wasn't there right from through training camp.
When did he start? Was it week 2?
I believe Jacoby Brissett started in week 2 or week 3.
Who did they have before that?
He did start early in the season. I think it was Ryan. I don't remember the dude's full name, but I remember
Ryan Nesbitt.
No. But the Rams laid waste to them. I remember game 1 of the season, they laid waste to them. Like, it was bad. So then they went out and they made the trade to get Jacoby Brissett.
He played in the Rams game.
Jacoby Brissett?
Yeah.
I thought it was Ryan. It was Ryan.
I'm sure somebody. I'm sure
somebody. But I feel like it is difficult because when you see a guy, because when a guy has somewhat of a resume, how do you fairly judge him? Because he does have somewhat of a resume by making it to the AFC Championship.
Right.
Out of all those coaches, he made it to the AFC Championship. I was so off. It was Scott Tolzien.
Okay, I was gonna say I don't see no.
Yeah, Scott Tolzien. Yeah, it was Scott Tolzien. I was tripping.
I would say I do not see any kind of.
Okay, so he was there from the beginning. They traded for him early in the season. So they traded for him right before the start of the season, and he didn't become the starter.
He became the starter
in week 2.
The Rams game.
Yeah, he became the starter in week 2. So I don't know if that's a fair justification to say that. Oh yeah, he got traded for into the later point of the obviously, I get Jimmy. It's tough because then we say that for Jacoby but then Jimmy Garoppolo comes in and lights the league on fire for freaking 5 straight games and goes 5-0.
I also don't think it's fair to compare each situation to every situation and say, well, this guy succeeded, so this guy should succeed either. Mm-hmm. I mean, because what's like he went from. What system did Jimmy Garoppolo go to the 49ers system? Was it something he had to like completely different? Did they work around him? Did they just keep the same playbook and thumb it down for him? Like what did they do for him to make it easier for him? Yeah. Versus Jacoby, what did they do for Jacoby Brissett and say, hey, Jacoby, here's the playbook, learn it, go out and play it, or so that kind of it's tough to gauge what happened in each situation. Yeah. So I think looking at it like that it's just tough. Like you said, throwing Brett Hundley in midseason. Mm-hmm. Like if he had played well, is that an indicative of how like a more indictment on the Colts for Jacoby Brissett not? Am I saying his name right?
Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah, I'm right. Yeah. Jacoby Brissett not playing well, so it's tough to compare situation to situation like that.
But when we look at it, should we say that in the case of what I'm trying to say? I can't grab my words. Yeah. But what I'm trying to say is, are we taking points away from Chuck Pagano because of the fact that, okay, you had Andrew Luck, you had all this time to build this roster around him, and is he getting bashed more so, or is he the sole cause of the blame because of your team didn't formulate well around him? Because the other coaches, I feel like they got fired because they brought back essentially almost the same rosters,
they did.
And they still didn't get further.
Like the
Lions,
Jack Del Rio,
he had the same Oakland Raiders offense, but Derek Carr got hurt at the end of the season.
They also lost running back for the Vikings.
Oh, Latavius Murray.
Mm-hmm. They lost Latavius Murray. I mean, one thing he couldn't control was Amari Cooper's hands just turning into stone. There's nothing he could really do about that. But I mean, it just kind of happened. Mm-hmm. I mean, Derek Carr took a step back as well.
Yes.
So I mean, it's like it's one of those things. Is it like? Did they do something? Like they may have brought back the whole team, but did they do something different than last year? Mm-hmm. Did they not make adjustments from last year, and teams just caught up to them? Yeah. It was like what happened that their team took that far of a step back?
In the same case of the Lions, because the Lions have always seemed like they're that team that they have the quarterback. You don't really have the running game in some instances, but then you have enough talent to make it when you have Golden Tate and you have other ancillary pieces you have Matthew Stafford, and you have other ancillary pieces where you might look like you're ready to take the next step, but they don't ever do it. So I guess that's why Jim Caldwell had to bite the dust also. But I do get the point on Chuck Pagano, because when you have a guy like Andrew Luck, and he's the predecessor to Peyton Manning, it's like you got to the AFC Championship because you had Andrew Luck, and it's one of those things that your coaching wasn't really the big ordeal that a lot of people credit it to being because of Andrew Luck. You're a defensive coach, yet the defenses never really carried or were able to lift up Andrew Luck, per se. Right. So I feel like that's one of those reasons why he was fired, because it seemed like you just rode the back of a great quarterback to get to your furthest achievement.
Can I say, before we wrap this up, I want to say I'm genuinely shocked Marvin Lewis is still the head coach of the Cincinnati Bengals.
Just waiting on it.
I genuinely cannot believe he has lasted this long as the coach.
Yeah, I know. I think it's one of those things that I feel like it's coming. It's gonna come.
No, I don't think it is.
He said he doesn't know his future with the team.
He isn't.
He said he's unsure about his future with the team.
Because isn't he also the GM?
I'm not sure.
I'm fairly confident he's the GM.
Yeah, that one we have to look up on the other side of the break and let people know, because I'm not sure if he's the GM, but he did say his future with the team is uncertain. So, and from that aspect, I'm pretty sure he doesn't know if it. But the fact that he hasn't been fired as it is,
that's what I'm saying. It's like how? It's like, what are you doing?
You know what I'm saying? Like, it just doesn't really add up to me, because I'm like, the guy hasn't had one playoff win. His team has regressed. I don't get it. I don't get it, because you made the playoffs. Wasn't it last year they made the playoffs? 2 years ago they made the playoffs. I feel like when the Antonio Brown hit happened, no, it was last year. It wasn't last. What was it, 2 years ago? I'm mixing up my years. But when the Antonio Brown hit happened, you had the playoff win in your hand. Then you let the Steelers come back and beat you because you hit Antonio Brown, and then the whole thing happened with Joey Porter and the whole nine.
Right.
And you lose it like that, and it's just like, dude, is it one of those things that the franchise is like, okay, we're just happy getting to the playoffs essentially?
That's what it seems like. It seems like they're just completely, hey, win the playoffs, good to go.
Yeah, pretty much. It seems like that's really what it is. But all right, y'all, we're gonna transition to our next topic. When we come back from the break, we're gonna be talking about the Los Angeles Lakers, and are team meetings really the way to go about fixing this young team's issues? Stay tuned to find out what we think. It's KBR Sports, the best sports talk show 24 hours a day. Refresh the page after the live link disappears after 50 to 60 seconds, and the live link will be back up for you all to tune into. It's KBR Sports.
I cannot find their GM.